is Chit Chat. Grab your popcorn, sit tight, we're ready to roll. In the heart of Sacktown, we're feeding your soul. In the King's Court, the vibe's electric. If you don't like that, we're here to correct it. With the best in the game, we're raising the bar. From the hardwood to the airways, we're the King's shining star. With the NFL, Adams in the ring. Rhino's got the wisdom, hear the praises we sing. Court in session, it's a royal affair. With the fans all around, feel the passion in the air. In the King's Court, the vibe's electric. If you don't like that, we're here to correct it. With the best in the game, we're raising the bar. From the hardwood to the airways, we're the King's shining star.
My bad. Let's restart that. Caught that early. We are all gas.
I'm all gas.
No breaks.
No breaks down.
On a Monday. What's going on? Big weekend. Very notable, newsworthy weekend. Not so much on the Kings front. Certainly, I'm going to eat some crow today. De'Aaron Fox got paid. I mean, he really, really got paid. So we'll get into that as well. We air our grievances today, and I'm going to try to tiptoe the fine line, which is what, I don't know, maybe a quarter of you want to talk about all show, and then the rest of you are like, please don't talk about that. Please don't talk about that. So I'm going to try to navigate that the best I can, and I've got to navigate it tightly because we are back-to-back today. Grant's going to join you at 5 o'clock, leading you right into Grant today. We're going to go about an hour, 40 minutes, probably. Make sure you join Nate's. It's going to be a dandy.
It will be a dandy
of a show that he's going to be doing. And remember, I think he's got some announcement. Is there some announcement this week? I think I heard that somewhere. So make sure that you come back and hang with Napes. Gabriel Harris, did you get into my closet? How did Stanford Cardinals stuff end up in my closet, Gabriel? Didn't you play at Stanford, my man? I don't know how I found that in my closet, but it was there. So take note of that, Peter, since you take note of what I wear every day. We're on a march to keep getting one more like than we do each day. We're trying to get one more each day as we march towards the next basketball season. Thank you. Y'all have been so great about that. So many ways to find the show as well. Certainly here on YouTube. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, all you got to do is scan the QR code. YouTube doesn't work for you? Not a problem. Find us on X, or you can take us to go with Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. You can find the King's Court with Rhino and Grant, all of Grant's content, if you don't like that, with Grant. You know what? Before I get into my stories, I want to see what y'all have to say. So get up in here. I would say get in early, get in often if you want to call the show. I would use the links that are pinned to the top of the chat. You can scan the QR code as well. And again, I'm not going to knock you over the head with wrestling. So if you want to come in and talk a little wrestling, we will mix it in, but like it's got to be doses. It's not 15 minutes straight. It's got to be a dose here, a dose there. And I will do my best to keep myself to that rule, the house rule. Do I get to make a rule? Yeah, I do.
Order in the court.
There's an order. So who's kicking us off? Happy Motivational Monday. That's right. We've got Motivational Monday coming up. No doubt. Protected or unprotected? That's the real question. Starting contest. Now, you know, I realized, Dennis, as I read the title of the show again, because I didn't read it for a second time. I just came up with it. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense in context. There are some knuckleheads. Don't do it. Haunted Horse, Tristan, Adam, don't do it. I put too much work into this show. Please, please do not take this show off the rails like you will commonly take other shows off the rails. We were referring to Jonathan Kuminga in the draft pick that the Kings want to be protected. So what's up, MC? Hope you had a great weekend. Yep, I caught the sound early. I caught it early. Thank goodness. Exactly. Should be an Aztec t-shirt. Yeah, I will rock other colleges of people that I know. And Gabe, I didn't get this shirt from him, but I'm like, wait, Gabe went to Stanford. Huh. So I'll give him a shout out somewhere in the stand. Yeah, GM, Stockton Kings, Gabe Harris, also made a half-court shot one time. Posted that online. That was cool. Swiper, no swiping. What show was that from? My son used to watch that show. My son used to watch that one. Swiper, no swiping. Is that Dora? Good luck, guys. I only give you a like when your show is good. Oh, okay. Thanks, Horse. Appreciate that, Horse. It's not like your name is in the song. Grant doesn't waste his time speculating about wouldas, couldas, shouldas. No, he does not. We do. Look, this time of year, I don't mind doing it. And really, the point of the Kuminga thing is I think things are moving on. Like, we're moving past it. Scott Perry is not going to give up any leverage. He thinks he has leverage in this situation, and I could understand why he sees it that way. The Warriors, conversely, they don't mind waiting for the deal that they want. They'll just sit Jonathan Kuminga. And I think there's also another shoe that the Warriors are waiting to drop. And we'll talk about that in the grievances, because there's one player that just he's almost as bad as LeBron these days. And unlike LeBron, this guy doesn't always play in the playoffs. LeBron plays. Giannis doesn't. So tired of Giannis's act. Just really am. So Scott, I do think, again, has the leverage. The most leverage that maybe the Kings have had in a situation like this, when the player says, yeah, I want to go there. But he's not willing to unprotect. I guess that's the bigger question. And we're going to get to Motivational Monday here in a second. But do you read into that at all? That Scott Perry's not willing to take the unprotected off that pick in 2030? Yeah, Peter, I know. It's nuts. I'll get to it later in the show. I think I have a reason as to why they're kind of going slow. They were monitoring a certain situation, but the timeline for the Kings, does that worry you at all, that Scott Perry doesn't want to take the unprotected off? Some of you said Friday. It's 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line. We should be better. So take it off. I don't know. I don't know where I come out on that, quite frankly. But as for Kuminga, I have it in the lineup. I don't think anything imminently is going to happen. I could be wrong, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Y'all beat me to it. It is Motivational Monday. We start our Mondays off in the King's Court with a motivational message from none other than the gentleman we were just talking about, Scott Perry, general manager of the Kings. Here's your message from Scott Perry. You know what? I can change my voice on this thing. Can I get it to be inspirational? Yeah, we'll try that next week. Everything that we experience and everything that we accomplish begins with a simple thought. The things that we choose to dwell upon in our minds are the seeds which will eventually take root, and begin to manifest in all that we say, do, and become. learning to control your thoughts rather than letting them control you is an important step to gaining victory in every other area of your life. Think about it. Hashtag Motivational Monday. I can get down with that. I think there's something that Scott's onto something there. And quite frankly, I have not minded these from Scott Perry. If you think we're mocking him, we're not. I actually kind of like him. Do you guys think this is a joke? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. This is not it's not one of those like funny segments. I like his Motivational Mondays. Does a good job. Justin, I will start Brock Lesnar. Yeah, we'll get there. Let's start here though first. As I mentioned at the top of the show, notable to some here in Sacramento because they are still De'Aaron Fox fans, and I will eat my crow right now on this channel. If you don't like that, currently 111 between YouTube and X that have checked in, I was wrong. I did not think that the Spurs were going to pay De'Aaron Fox the way that they paid him. He is a top 10 paid player in the league right now. In fact, he's only making, 1.5 or 2 million less than what was offered to him here in Sacramento. Huge statement for the Spurs. Big statement for the Spurs. Congratulations, De'Aaron. I thought De'Aaron was going to be one of those guys that might get left in the cold going into his contract year. I said it all the time. Grant will tell you the same. Most guys do not go into this season without an extension or an option on their contracts. In fact, LeBron James, do you even have to say James after LeBron? I think we know who you're talking about if you say LeBron. But LeBron, this is the first time in his career he is going into a season without another year on the back end, meaning he will be an unrestricted free agent come next summer. Really interesting stuff there. So congrats to De'Aaron. Is that a tradable contract? Is that a contract he's going to be able to play up to? It's going to be, I actually think it's a gamble by the Spurs for two reasons. De'Aaron Fox isn't your piece that's going to take you over the top. He's not. He's that 1B, right? But theoretically in this NBA, until Wemby becomes the Wemby that everybody, including myself, is envisioning 5, 6, 7 years down the road, until he's that Wemby, they're going to need another piece. And maybe that's one of the rookies. Maybe that's Steph Castle. Well, leads me right to my point. What if those guys start outplaying Fox? De'Aaron Fox, you have to take your game to a different level right now. And I know Fox said it's not about the money, but this is the contract that he will be remembered by. This is the opportunity De'Aaron Fox likely will be defined by in his basketball career. It's set up that way. The Spurs are set for success in the future. But I go back to, how does this help or hurt the Spurs if they're still thinking we got to bring in that one more? Is it Giannis? Is it a player of that magnitude? Spurs have the back end assets to do it. Now, money's tied up, and here's how the money plays out, by the way, for De'Aaron year over year. 51, 55.1, 59.2, 63.3 for a total of 228.6. You know what the Spurs are doing? The Spurs are saying, we're winning. To me, this contract says we're winning a championship by 29-30. The Spurs plan to have a championship, a Lario, another one in the trophy case by 29-30 for a couple of reasons. That number for Fox, it's big number. You know Wemby's going to make the Supermax. Every team in the NBA would give it to him based off of potential. But the other reason that's important is the rookie contracts that they're going to have, not only from their 2 first-rounders coming in that came in this year, but the reigning Rookie of the Year, Steph Castle. So, Foxy, time to put up, man. I hope it works out. I can tell you this. Standing back and shooting 3-pointers is not why you're getting paid $63.3 million a year. It's not why you're making 51.1 in 26-27. The Spurs are paying you to come in and be the De'Aaron Fox that nobody can catch. You're the Roadrunner. You now have guaranteed generational wealth. In fact, I saw that De'Aaron Fox has now passed Chris Paul in guaranteed career earnings at 27. Now, part of that is the numbers weren't as high when Chris came in to the league. With this contract, De'Aaron is guaranteed $416,202,932 in career earnings from basketball contracts in the NBA. How about that? So those are my big takeaways. Again, I circle 29-30. The Spurs are saying we have a chip by the time we are paying De'Aaron 63.3. De'Aaron cannot be outplayed by Steph. He can't be outplayed. He can't be outplayed consistently by those guys. So what are your guys' thoughts on it? Again, congratulations to De'Aaron. I had nothing but grievance last week was fans that were wishing bad things for De'Aaron. If you're part of that crew, you don't really work here with this group. We don't usually do that. Usually those people get filtered out pretty quick. They don't even get to me. The chat starts eating them up. So De'Aaron, paid man. How about that? Well, he will be paid starting in 26-27. So there's everything you need to know on Foxy. We already hit Kuminga a little bit. Evan Sidery put it pretty well. Unless the Kings remove the restriction, it's not going to happen. I'm with them. Remember, it includes Malik Monk too. And you've guaranteed Jonathan Kuminga a starting position. So you've got that to navigate if Scott Perry decides to remove it. We will see. As my phone rings. Anybody know that theme? Anybody? Going once, going twice? Who do you think that theme is for? See, somebody called me out the other day. They're like, Rhino, you don't have ringtones for your basketball contacts. That's your regular ringtone. No, it's not. It's not my regular ringtone. We also have news coming from Dallas. How do you think the Cowboys handled things after Micah Parsons requested a trade? He aired some dirty laundry, as he should have. He stood up to the Colt leaders, Jerry and Steven. This was earlier in the week. This was right around when Micah put his statement out. Listen to what Stephen Jones had to say.
Did you hear the fans yelling, "Pay Micah" yesterday? And what do you think when you hear that?
It doesn't change anything. I mean, we want to pay Micah too. He's got to want to be paid.
He's got to want to be paid. Well, didn't look too good when Micah put out the information. He did. Believe he's been on record saying he would take less. Definitely was on record that he wanted to be in Dallas, But the Cowboys just keep kicking these cans down the road with players. They think that there is some special attraction to working for Jerry Jones or putting on a Cowboys uniform. I get how America's team started, but these guys, Jerry, Steven, the Jones family, they believe that. Like, they think they're America's team. They really do. So you knew it wasn't going to take long for Jerry Jones to weigh in on the Micah situation. And in classic Jera, he doesn't disappoint.
Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
Huh? Micah has a bad back? That's like being traded? Jerry, did you go to school in Los Angeles?
They didn't know my schedule.
With studies not on your schedule. Come on. What does that even mean? So now you're telling teams he has a hurt back to leverage him to stay? Like, help me make sense of this. Here was Jerry's full comments. But seriously, if you can help me make sense of this, I would greatly appreciate it. Here was Jerry's full comments.
Jerry, are you considering trading Micah Parsons?
Well, let's put it like this. Surely you guys have been around this stuff and know to recognize negotiation talk, that type of thing. And so that's where I put that.
So are you considering it?
I'm not. At this, the facts are that that's like anything else. I think the world of Micah, and that's just a part of negotiation.
Would you ever consider trading Micah?
Again, I don't really place that with any real seriousness. Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
Did the request take you by
Y'all weigh it the same.
Jerry.
What? Micah has a bad back? That's like being traded? Y'all weigh it the same? I mean, this is his take on Christmas, right?
There's a pony in here somewhere, is the old adage, with the boy scooping up the manure on Christmas Day and whistling while he was doing it. Here comes Santa Claus. Well, that's us.
The only play for Jerry and Steven and the rest of the Cowboys this last weekend was locking themselves in a room with Micah's agent, apologizing profusely, reminding them that we know he is the best defensive player in the game right now, and then offering him a number that's at a premium. That was your only play. But what's Jerry do? It's, how about them Cowboys? It's nonsense. You got to trade him now. You have just blown up a bridge. This bridge can't be fixed. You're never going to get true value. In fact, Jerry, your own players, your star players, have publicly supported Micah. You don't think they're reevaluating what is actually normal in an NFL organization and what's not? Usually it takes a pretty big thing to turn a locker room and turn a team, especially a 53-man team, against the organization. And Jerry, you guys are tiptoeing in it. Your fans, like, is there going to be a worse year or a bigger roller coaster year in a city for sports than Dallas if Micah Parsons gets traded? You lost Luka. You get and I'm not saying it. You all were saying it in the chat. You get the frozen envelope. You get Cooper Flag. Now you're feeling better about stuff. You know, the Cowboys can't screw up Micah. You know, you can mess around with Dak because it's debatable if he's really an elite quarterback. Can he really win you a Super Bowl? Maybe you can go a different way. There ain't no debating this. You lose this guy, you've got a fan base. Jerry, I'm telling you, my man, they might show up to your building, Gerald World, and deliver the casket for you, my man. Your memorial might start while you are still here on Earth outside that building. What do the Cowboys do? I have no idea what they do. But can you think of two stupider things to say back to back? These are the two guys running the Cowboys.
Did you hear the fans yelling "Pay Micah" yesterday? And what do you think when you hear that?
It doesn't change anything. I mean, we want to pay Micah too. He's got to want to be paid.
Got to be kidding me. Micah and his agent are cackling at that point. Like the letter had already been written, and then Jerry.
Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
Hey, Liz. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. So let's get to all you. We also got grievances. I'm going to mix in some wrestling. I know you want to talk about it. And remember, we're going back to back today. It's a different schedule today. Grant's going to be on at 5:00. Make sure you join him. He'll have thoughts on the weekend. I don't know that there's really much to kick over about Fox. You know, the mainstream media here in Sacramento, finally, some of them finally started picking up this DeMarcus Cousins thing about whether he should have his jersey retired or not. You know where we stand on that. I'm not talking about Grant. You know where I stand on that, where a lot of you stand on that, because we had the discussion last week. But maybe that will come up, whatever you want to talk to Grant about. And then certainly there's like this announcement thing sometime this week. So yeah, hit him up, 5:00. He'll be right here on the channel, getting things wrapped up for the night. All right, let's get to all of you. And then we got to roll some grievances in here as well. Got plenty of thoughts over the weekend about stuff that I saw. Also, something really awesome happened this weekend. Like, couldn't have played out any better. Could not have played out any better. I'm going to talk about that too as well. Haunted Horse, you're going to be the first one back in. Dude, does Haunted Horse have the number 1 next to his name right now with the chat? Because I think that's a thing on YouTube. If they traded Micah for a few number 1 picks, it's not a bad deal, but you aren't going to get those picks if you are telling trade partners he's got a bad back. Exactly. Exactly right. Jake Moody is horrible. Please be joking. Why are we talking about Jake Moody? Peter, it does. I like preseason. I know some people don't. I laid out my case on why I like preseason. That's not very nice. Hey, Paul, come on, man. That's not very nice.
Whoa!
We don't allow that around here. We don't. Dude, Micah in silver and black. I don't know about that. Peter, if Kuminga is that good, there would be competition for his services. Why are teams avoiding him? Well, okay, Peter, you bring up a decent point in this. I was reading Kuminga's stats. He's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 to 16 points a game. His numbers look good, but is it a fair question to ask, what do you think Kuminga's numbers would be had he continued playing? Had he not been sent to the bench, do you think those numbers are still on par with that? I don't know what total minutes played last year was compared to previous years. It's something I can look at if these talks heat back up. But, you asked about this last week, Peter, and I have it in my grievances. So I'll talk about it more there. I think there's a number of teams that have taken a little too much of a sit back and wait approach about maybe some bigger players being on the move. I do know this. We've seen deals go down later in the summer that are big deals. Shams came out and said this was going to be the craziest offseason in the history of the NBA. And to this point, I don't think it's been the craziest offseason. So maybe this offseason isn't done yet. I mean, there were whispers mid-season that Giannis was interested in going to Golden State. But you brought up a great point earlier, Peter. They got 9 players under contract. 9 players. So they have to do something. I think that is, when we were talking about leverage, to me, is it leverage that you're getting Kuminga off the books simply by just exchanging for Malik Monk? It's just one player for a player, and then the pick that we all know about, protected, not protected. But could Malik Monk be a part of a bigger deal to the Warriors, a more appealing piece than Kuminga? I think that is where the leverage might be at. If Malik got traded to the Warriors, I don't know, depending on what happens before training camp, that Malik would be suiting up in a Warriors uniform if some other guys came available. So it's a decent conversation for sure. Does this indicate the number 2 pick, Dylan Harper, might not be the real deal? I mean, we don't have any idea who's going to be the real deal or not yet. You're not going to know that for, very special players, right off the bat. LeBron, Shaq, those guys right off the bat. But I think Dylan Harper is going to take a little bit of time. I think you're going to need probably a year or 2. That's why I'm saying you've got to, if you're De'Aaron Fox, your job is to keep that ball moving and get into the paint. You've got to have the yin and the yang with Wemby. And Wemby, if it's his preference, he wants to be out on the perimeter shooting the 3 because he can shoot over everybody. So Fox has got to get his butt to the paint, in my humble opinion, in what I know about basketball. Paul, I think Fox will be the road runner. We will see. He's getting paid a lot of money. He better do what they're asking. Like, it's one thing in Sacramento to do the kind of stuff, whether you agreed with it or not, stuff that played out in the media. De'Aaron really kind of changing his game and relying heavily on the 3. A lot of people speculate longevity was the choice, not taking the beating. There wasn't enough protection inside. Maybe it's not worth it for this team because, even though the goal is to win a championship, we don't have what it takes to win a championship. Our owner, I don't even know who to go to if I have a complaint that I need to lodge about the team. Am I talking to somebody that's in cahoots with somebody that I don't want to know that finds out about that? You see what I'm saying? Like, Sacramento was a different situation. You are now in the spotlight of the NBA. You're going to be playing on Christmas days. You are playing next to Wemby. And this is really the year Wemby needs to turn over. And with what happened with his scary situation, happy that he is still able to play basketball. I mean, that blood clot could have been really, really bad, but assuming that has not affected his training as it would for some of us, I'm thinking this is the year that kicks into gear. And De'Aaron Fox has to absolutely be a big part of that. And if he causes those issues, isn't doing the right things, it's going to be a different type of attention. Not so much he'll get it from the San Antonio market. You got to remember, you also got Pop El Jefe in charge in San Antonio. He's pretty to the point and blunt, but the national media is going to really start looking at that. It's not going to be just Wemby still needs to progress. They're going to point at De'Aaron too if he's not playing well. So, but I like what I see with most of you. How does Zach LaVine look now after Fox's contract averages 56 per year starting in 26-27? It's too hard to say, Peter. I mean, it looks a little bit better. They technically play different positions. Availability is going to be really what determines how that contract looks. You know, there's degrees of this with Zach LaVine. The first degree is, can he play 82 games? Maybe he doesn't play well, but can he play another full season? The second degree is, can he play a full season and play well? And those are going to be the things that dictate whether or not that contract looks better. But I did not see Fox getting that money, not that much money. I thought he was going to take a significant haircut. I thought he was probably going to be, what did I say on the show? I think it was like 30 to 35. I mean, that's a big number. Now, maybe San Antonio says we have leverage because we think that there is some really good things in the future for Dylan Harper, or somebody mentioned, which too soon to know really, but Stephon Castle specifically, like maybe we can move him. Who knows what San Antonio's thinking, but I mean, that was a lot when I saw that. That was a lot. I'm happy for Fox, but that was a lot of money. It's going to be interesting to see what Grant says about it here in just a little bit. Grant will be here again at 5 o'clock, meaning we are only going to go up to about 4:45 on today's show. We have not hit any of the SummerSlam weekend, which was newsworthy. Some of that is mixed in with the grievances. But speaking of grievances, it's Motivational Monday. It's also a day that we air our grievances. If you got a grievance with something, call the show. Let us know what your grievance is. I've got a list of grievances today, and I've intertwined them with what's going on in the news. So why don't we get to my first grievance?
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
So this hit me the wrong way. Clutch points. Sacramento might be cooking up a dream scenario this offseason. According to reports, the Kings' quote dream offseason would land Jonathan Kuminga and Russell Westbrook, two explosive athletes who could bring a whole new energy to the Golden One Center. Kuminga would add young legs, two-way versatility, and a sky-high ceiling to a core led by DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Domas. Meanwhile, Russ could bring veteran fire, leadership, and that relentless motor that Kings fans would love to see in purple and black. It's only a dream for now, but if the Kings pull this off, it might shine brighter than ever next season. Okay. Can we pump the brakes, please? Can we change the rhetoric? My grievance is
the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now You're going to hear about it.
A dream is to trade Terrence Davis for Giannis. A dream is to flip Max for Wemby. A dream is that LeBron and his kid don't come to Sacramento. Those are dream scenarios. You're going to tell me at the top of the Kings' dreams are Kuminga and Westbrook? I know a lot of you are going to say I'm going over the top here, but that's just a really bad play on words. Like if I'm Scott Perry, I'm actually kind of upset unless it's true that that's a dream. You know what I would call that? I would call that a successful offseason. That's what I would call it. Not a dream offseason, a successful offseason. And understand that it's on a curve. I'm grading on a curve here. Because Sacramento doesn't usually draw a lot of free agents. And you had limited resources to work with. But a dream offseason? I mean, what do you all think? Like, do you think that was the Kings' dream? Come on. That's silly. That's lazy. I can't get with that. A dream offseason. A dream offseason would be not having Levine's contract on the books. Somebody overpaying for DeMar DeRozan. A dream would be having a lemon law on a trade and sending Zach LaVine back to Chicago, putting De'Aaron Fox back on this team and trading him in a sign-in trade where you get enough young pieces and future capital that you can properly rebuild. Those are dreams. This is just having a successful offseason. But a dream. Does that not hit anybody weird? It hits me weird. And I'm going to roll into a second one because it's connected.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
I'm getting really tired of the Greek Geeks act. This guy has played one of the last 3 postseasons because he's been injured. Now, he has won a championship. Respect for that. Can't take that away from him. But this going back and forth, I don't know if I'm going to stay. I don't know if I'm going to go. Well, you signing off on every transaction dating back to last season when one of your best buddies, Chris Middleton, was traded, to now this offseason, you signing off on all these different moves, the players you wanted, and now it's coming out again that Giannis still is not sure if he's going to be in Milwaukee?
You know, Shams, I can't let you leave until I check in regarding something else. Giannis, he's making waves this offseason, but tell me, what's the latest? Anything more there?
As we sit here on August 4th, sources tell me there is nothing set in stone about whether Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to stay in Milwaukee or whether he wants to leave elsewhere. He's been evaluating his future this entire offseason. I reported way back in mid-May that he's open-minded about whether his best fit is in Milwaukee or is it a trade elsewhere. That process has been continuing. There's been some real conversations he's having with his inner circle, from my understanding. And the one big question that is surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's surrounding his camp, is can he win another championship? Is this Bucks roster built for this upcoming season, for 2026-27, for him to win another championship, his second championship? We know how bad he wants to do that. Mm-hmm. And so only Giannis Antetokounmpo can make that determination, and clearly he wants to do it on his own time. I will say this. There are multiple teams that I know of that are literally waiting right now on what decision Giannis Antetokounmpo makes, waiting to see, does he actually hit the market? Training camps don't start till mid-September. There have been examples in the past. Kyrie Irving was traded to the Boston Celtics in August when he got moved. Damian Lillard was actually traded to Milwaukee in September. So there are deals that happen late in summers.
And let me pick up my guy Shams there. Not only are there deals that happen in September, you left out the most notable one. Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns a week before training camp started. I mean, do you remember Giannis? This was what, 3 or 4 weeks ago? This was like right before the start of free agency.
Wow. So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably. We'll see. See. Probably a little.
With a snickering grin. Now, Giannis, I love your story. I love that you're about your family. I love that is what turned things over for you in the NBA. I love that when your family was able to come be with you the second half of your rookie year, you all lived in that same apartment that was only for you. I love the story. You're a top 5 player in the league. You're a freak, but you're acting like a geek. You could make an argument. Giannis is just as responsible for Milwaukee's letdowns, their failures, 2 of the 3 last off seasons, because he can't stay healthy. Up until this last postseason, we're asking, are we going to add him to the list of the guys that you just assume aren't going to be there or banged up? Embiid, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. So I think, dude, you got to take this with a grain of salt, man. And if you do stay, there's no excuses on why this didn't work. There's no blaming the franchise because you have been signing off on everything, including double-crossing Dame with his buyout. Dame even clapped out about that. So I'm not going to judge your character, but I damn sure am going to judge your availability and where you take this team. You know what it really seems like? Seems like this dude's afraid to lead a team. This dude's questioning himself. What assurances are you giving to an organization? I mean this. What assurances are you giving them behind the doors that is conversely bringing you in on every transaction? I mean, borderline, just put general manager on the back of his jersey. You're borderline there. So Giannis, you can't play this publicly like, yeah, I might go. Because you're acting like a geek when you do that, when professionally you're telling them, I want to be here. These are the guys that I want. Or are you doing something way different? Making sure your franchise is in a worse place than it was before when you leave. Can tell you this will not play out well if this team is not winning and Giannis then acts to go out. If that happens, he had better been playing almost every game and he better be in the MVP race at that point. Like he's doing everything he can and the rest of the team just they can't pull it together. Or else this is going to be a really ugly ending. So yeah, Giannis, man, I'm sorry. I'm tired of this. It's too much back and forth. If you played all of these postseasons, all right, maybe your team would have gone further. Maybe you would have gotten more out of those players. Maybe you would have found something, a different level. She didn't. And you haven't. But what Sham said on the back end of that is so true. And Peter was asking, Golden State, they only have 9 players under contract. There's teams that are waiting. I completely agree with that. I think Golden State is one of them because Giannis, if you want to believe some reporting, going back to last season, going back to the previous offseason, that there was a lot of interest between those two camps, Giannis and the Warriors. Now, of course, that could never happen because that's tampering. They would never find a way to engage the players in talks. Can't happen. No, it never happens. Of course it happens. So I think Golden State is very heavily looking at that. And I don't know what you do, quite frankly, if you're Golden State. What package do you have to offer? And that's why I wonder if Golden State sees that, Milwaukee, I don't think they need another power forward. They need another guard. They need a scorer like Malik. They need that kind of guy. So if you do move Kuminga, you might be helping Golden State's argument if Giannis, or helping their deal if Giannis is to become available. So those are my first couple airings of grievances. If you have anything else that you would like to air, let me know, and we will get it on the show. Dream would be acquiring Brunson. Yeah, we could go down the dream list. I could tell you, if I was the general manager, and there's no indication that Scott Perry has confirmed this, it's a report, but this would be a dream offseason for the Kings if they got Kuminga and Westbrook. I mean, you got the graphic too. A dream. What a dream offseason. It's a successful offseason when you consider the draft, because it's a mixing of the cards. On paper, it's a successful offseason. You won't know until 25 games into the season. Is Giannis another Zion? No, I can't put. He's not missed that amount of games. Giannis is actually the complete opposite of Zion when you think about what they've done physically since coming into the NBA. Go look at Giannis's rookie year and just how rail thin he was. But it's a perfect example of today's NBA, where the NBA draft, that was an example of a team taking Giannis. Remember, Giannis was not even, quote unquote, invited to the draft. Giannis was in the stands when his name was called. But that was a team in Milwaukee that saw a clear path with their strength and conditioning team, with their player development staff, that we know what we can turn this guy into. And we think he can turn himself into that as well. So we're going to take a flyer on him. And now in today's NBA, with the CBA and drafting and player development being so important, that's why you're seeing such more subjective drafts after the clear talent, the clear top tier talent is off the board. Teams are now looking at, okay, well, because of this, I think we can do that. And so Giannis year one to where he got year 3, year 4, and where he's certainly at now, he's a specimen. He didn't come into the NBA that way. He had the right ingredients. He had the long arms. He was tall, but yeah, Zion, he's gotten more out of shape through the years, been more injury prone. And then Zion last off season got in the best shape of his life. And it's kind of interesting because we talked about this with Luka. Luka's in the best shape of his life right now. He got extended, which we've not talked about. What's up, Patrick? Off the clock, watching King's Court from the Chambers. What's up, dude?
Woo!
Happy you are here. Patrick, I got to be honest. I didn't understand everything with your tweets this weekend. I did not understand all of them. Let me know. You're on the move. You said you done the goat flight or something. So fill me in. You don't have to fill me in now. Fill me in at some point. I was trying to put the puzzle pieces together on that. Him and AD. I don't remember. Well, I'm trying to think AD coming into the league. Yeah. Yeah. But with Zion, there's no real clarity on Zion says he wanted to play back-to-backs. The organization wouldn't let him, according to Zion. Now he's got the legal troubles, but they're standing behind him. The bigger point that I was getting to is Luka. Great transformation. The Lakers needed to see that before they extended him. Now, personally, I would want to see at least 25 games or half a season. I mean, he's probably going to get extended. You're not going to give up on that talent. But what's Luka going to do? And I said this once he got okay. He's flying home from Georgia on a plane called Cliff the Mountain Goat. Interesting. There you go. How am I supposed to know about Cliff? Patrick gets it cleared up right there for us. What's Luka going to be able to do when you are 25, 50 games into the season? It's the after the first game of a back-to-back and you're on the team airplane, and the easy thing is to grab the bad stuff. Is he going to be able to keep his body that way throughout the season? That's my big question. I mean, certainly, and you know what? Here's my bigger question. Let me pose this to you as well. Is Luka's weight loss going to change any advantages in his game, like with posting up? He kind of was a bigger body. Now you still got the same height, the same length, but you don't have the same size. I wonder, and it could be in a very good way, or it might be, a step back in that area. But I wonder what that progression or regression is going to look like because of the way he's changed his body. It's a really good question. Off the clock, watching King's Court from the compound. Dude, Finchy, you missed what I had to say about your Cowboys. And, how about them Cowboys? Yeah! Sorry, that was a little loud. Finchy, since you speak Jerry Jones, can you please explain this to the rest of us here in the King's Court?
Jerry, are you considering trading Micah Parsons?
Well, let's put it like this. Surely you guys have been around this stuff and know to recognize negotiation talk, that type of thing. And so that's where I put that.
So are you considering it?
I'm not. The facts are that that's like anything else. I think the world of Micah, and that's just a part of negotiation.
Would you ever consider trading Micah?
Again, I don't really place that with any real seriousness. Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
Did the request take you by surprise?
Y'all weigh it the same.
Jerry.
What? I mean, compared to that, this makes sense.
With huge amounts of money. Be careful. Be careful. Look under the hood. Give it a lot of consideration as you make decisions regarding what you have as far as keeping it. You don't have to be smart to make money. You do not have to be. You can be very talented. You can be very driven. You do not have to be smart to make money, but you have to be real smart to keep it.
I mean, Jerry, you just have such an eloquent way of putting things that none of us really needed to understand nor wanted to understand. But now we're trying to figure out what you said. Remember this one?
If you were a driver of a car and you had a wreck and your hand was almost severed off, but you didn't understand your anatomy, you look down, you're spurting blood, you open the door and run to the woods and either die bleeding to death or shocked. The educated man looks down, knows his anatomy, squeezes and knows his best chance is to wait for help. That's because he's been there a lot and done that. And so I'm waiting, I'm squeezing and waiting for help.
So what you're telling me is between you and your son, Steven, you both with this Micah Parsons thing have ran to the woods and bled out. That's what you're telling me. You're not an educated man. You're in the woods.
Did you hear the fans yelling "Pay Micah" yesterday? And what do you think when you hear that?
That doesn't change anything. I mean, we want to pay Micah too. He's got to want to be paid.
Micah's got to want to be paid. Hey, Micah, let's talk about team leadership. Yeah, leadership. Yeah, we'll get to that. So, hey, about your contract, Micah. Jerry, I thought this was a leadership meeting. But you would, Jerry, my agent isn't here. Like, this isn't proper. Snowball. And then you give an incoherent answer and end it with this.
Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
You should see. Go look up that clip. Go look up this clip of him talking to the media 2 days ago. Look at the smile on his face. He is literally, he turns around to the person that asked the question, and he has the biggest grin. And this is where it happens. He goes, it's like he's calling somebody out, like he's telling on them in front of the teachers. Listen, well, Micah's got a hurt back.
Micah's got a bad back.
Isn't that
That's like
rich?
being traded.
No reaction? No, I'm going to flash my veneers.
Micah's got a bad back.
Come on. Jerry.
It's like being traded.
So bad. I don't know. If I'm Micah, I'm pieced out with them. I don't know if I'm sitting out. Yeah, I probably am sitting out. I don't know. I mean, Jerry just gave him all the runway in the world to sit out. You remember Brandon Ayuk last season? Like, what's that leg injury? Why he's not on the field and the Niners aren't fining him? Like, what injury is that? Is there a leg injury? No disputing. Now, the owner said Micah's got a bad back. Holy crap. Come on, Jera. Man, the only thing better talking about Jera and trying to make sense of Jera is doing it around a table at Bennett's. Of course, they got Wi-Fi at Bennett's. You can get your sound drops off there. But seriously, big thanks to Bennett's for sponsoring today's episode of The King's Court. 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area: Rockland, Roseville, Howe, and Fair Oaks. Did anybody make it out this weekend for brunch? Prime rib? Has anybody tried the Taste of Summer menu yet? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Check out the menu section. Check out the special section. Bennett's, whether you want a nice prime cut of steak or some really great fresh seafood, they've got it all for you, including, like I said, brunch on the weekends, and also some really good different offerings, lighter offerings, shareable plates, 2 to 6 happy hour. Very, very affordable for the ambiance and the price, and most importantly, the food that you get there. Secondary to the food, some of the best in the business, working with Brian and Margot. It's always a great experience. Go check them out. Again, Bennett'sRestaurants.com. 3 here in the greater Sacramento area: Roseville, Rockland, Howe, and Fair Oaks. Big thanks to them as well. I have another thank you coming up here. Not a sponsor. It's going to be a one-time thank you. So we'll get to that here in a few minutes. Let's go to the phones. Kazi, what's up today, man?
Yo, long time no talk. I had the greatest dream last night, Ryan. The greatest dream, and I promise it relates to this show specifically. Because I know you and Grant got some big news coming up on Wednesday. I do have a pretty good idea what I think that is. I won't spoil anything, but I do know this. Grant did say this on the show, so obviously it's not that. But in my dream, basically, what happened was you and Grant started live streaming the games, did your own play-by-play, and you were the color analyst. And oh my gosh, was it the best shit in the world? Your guys' commentary, I was like, God damn, this is way better than that than whatever they do. The Katie and I don't know what the name is, Mark Jones. You guys were so enthusiastic, full of energy. I was like, wow, like this is what the Kings season is about to be. I'm looking forward to this, even if they go 0-82. I just want to say that, Ryan. You guys are doing a great job. Ryan, you've come a long, long way, man, from the first time I listened to you on this show, this YouTube channel. But man, keep it up. And peace, brother. Peace.
Peace, brother. That's how you come in. Notice what wasn't in Kazi's dream? It wasn't Russell Westbrook and Jonathan Kuminga. That was not part of his dream for the Kings. That's awesome, Kazi. Thank you very much. Very much. Tell you what, share that with Grant. 5 o'clock. He's going to be here. Love that, man. This is Grant's announcement. So I am as excited actually as all of you are to see what's going on. So again, he'll be here 5 o'clock. I'm glad some of you made it through the weekend. Apparently you're excited. If you're dreaming about it, keep it coming. Love it. Love it. Love it. Good hearing from you, Kaz. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you are doing really well. Grant, again, 5 o'clock. We're going back to back, which means your opportunities to call the show are getting fewer and fewer. We're going to be signing off about 4:45 today to give the chair to the man, Mr. Napier, here in just over 50 minutes. I do want to, and I rarely do this, but I want to send a very special thank you out. One topic that we have had on this show that has sparked a lot of interest on this show has been cards. It's been the hobby. I almost can't call it a hobby anymore. I think you have to call it a business. We didn't look at it back in my day as a business. In fact, somebody should have told us it was a business. You were investing in things. You were taking care of those things. You were making calculated risks about the values going up and going down. And back in those days, we didn't have the internet. We had the Elk Grove comic and card shop. That's what we had. And they had Beckett's. They had the packs. They had the boxes. They had the posters. That's where we spent our time. And so this weekend, because the little man's into Pokemon, I'm like, you know what? I want him to learn the right way. I want him to understand what he has. I want him to learn more about collecting. And so I decided I was going to take him in. And again, this is the exact card shop. Now, it's in a different location, but it was the exact shop that I went to growing up. Spent so much time there growing up. Remembered the owners clear as day. And anyways, the other payoff for Bubs was he was going to get his first box. He never had a box before. He's gotten packs. And apparently it's not a true box because I guess boxes sell out for Pokemon like the day they come in, but they're blaster pack boxes. So he got like 6 packs in it, right? And unbeknownst to me, one of the owners said, "Hey, are you Ryan?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're the owner, right?" And he's like, "We watch the shows all the time. We're huge fans. You know, it's an honor. You know, oh, that must be your son. He likes Pokemon, right?" I'm like, "He sure does." Let me tell you the experience, the knowledge, the time. The shop was busy. The shop was busy, and they were coming over frequently to come look through Liam's book, tell him more about the cards that he opened, what he might have there. Be careful about trading that. Plastic slips, organizing, card holders, the whole 9 yards. I wanted my son to have that nostalgic experience that I had when I had saved up enough money to be able to buy a box and then understand like what you had with it. And there's no way I could have given him that same experience without them. So I want to thank the shop, and I want to give them a giant shout out. It was an incredible time, an unexpected time, and they had no idea of knowing it. I had no idea of knowing it, but you transported my son back to my shoes at 10 years old for an hour and a half. So thank you very much. If you're in the area, go check them out. Please do. It's such a cool shop. They hold events there all the time. They have been, like I said, they have been in business in Elk Grove for as long as I can remember. So there's their information. Again, Elk Grove Cards and Comics. Go check them out. To both of the owners, thank you so much. It was a really special day. You guys know I normally don't do this, but there's no way that I couldn't do it. Strictly the nostalgia, what it meant to me growing up, and for my son to get that experience, like that experience was just incredible. So, and I know I'm not the only one that gets that. You want that experience? Go check them out. They've got spots for you to rip your cards right there. That's what Liam and I did. So go check them out. Again, Elk Grove Cards and Comics. Hit them up. Let them know that you heard about them here. And go say hi. You will not be disappointed. So, look, I know the Beckett's. See? Uh-oh. Oh, you're going to... John Finch has a grievance on me. All right, John. You got a grievance. Let's hear it. Got to get the imaging. What's your grievance, John?
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I have a grievance against Ryan in his pronunciation of the word able. Anyone else? Second that. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was awesome. You couldn't write it any better. Yeah, they did have some graded cards. If you're into Pokemon, they've got a ton of stuff. Yeah, check it out. Go check them out for sure. So in fact, I had been trying to explain to my son what that process looks like, because he has a couple of cards that we figured were, maybe 10, 15 bucks raw. And I was trying to explain, if you think you have a nicer card that could go up in value, it makes it more valuable to get it graded. And I'm telling him all about it and how it basically tells you if the card's perfect and all these little things that you, if you're a 10-year-old, you don't think about, like on touching the cards and what to do with them, how to open packs. And I was able to specifically show him. I said, look, that is what a graded card looks like. That is what a slab is. So, okay, I'll go back and listen to it. Ebel. Oh, Ebel. I say Ebel. You're right. If you're Ebel. Okay, John, dude.
Woo! The airing of grievances.
I do.
I got a lot of problems with
Ebel.
you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
John, I appreciate that. I need to know those things. It's that damn Elk Grove accent. So true. So true. Our guy Gilbert Arenas is laughing at that. It's that damn Elk Grove accent. Ebel. I do that. Look, there, and what Kazi said, I really appreciate about how I've grown on the channel. Right there. There's these little things, and I have still got a long ways to go, but there's very small things that maybe you notice or you don't notice at all that I am trying to get better at every single day. Ebel is going on that list. That's going on that list. I've said a few of them. The other one is you have to know. I don't need to tell you what you have to know. So anyways, I'm not going to get too far into the weeds. All right, I know some of you waited for this, so let's go ahead. Let's get into it. It was a big weekend, but it's not without grievances. when it comes and wrestling, non-wrestling fans, give me 5 minutes here. I will keep it to 5 minutes. So let's go to the airing of grievances about some of the stuff that I saw this weekend on SummerSlam. Better and for worse. Here we go.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
All right. SummerSlam. I hope you are able to hang in there with me for the next few minutes. SummerSlam needs to go back to 2 night or 1 night, or you need to balance the cards out. My first grievance, though, with SummerSlam
The airing of
is
grievances.
the
I got a lot
promotion
of problems with you people. Now
of
you're going to
a
hear about it.
25th anniversary table, ladders, and chair match between all these different tag teams that was built off of the same table, ladders, and chair match that Adam and I saw in Dallas. The tag team one, or excuse me, wasn't Dallas. It was Fort Worth. And it at Fort Worth, yeah, your grievance is wrestling. Gail, time it. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Grievance is too much content. Fell asleep last night. Fair enough. Exactly. That's what I'm getting to. A little too much content.
With you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
If you're going to show the Hardy Boys as legends, if you're going to show the Dudleys as legends, they needed to fly out the dude who took off his prosthetic leg in Fort Worth and threw it to the guys to use in the match. And then they threw it back to him. How you not have him as a legend of this match, I will not understand. Second grievance, really quick. Got the internal timer going, Gail.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Yeah, you know, Matthew, Adam and I will hit it on Friday. The double tables are a recipe for somebody to be impaled. I want to see that banned. This guy might have gotten over more than anybody else SummerSlam weekend. This dude, if you don't know who he is, he showed up on the scene like 6, 7, 8 years ago, just wearing this smiley face shirt, but he sits dead center, dead smack in the middle of the first row where the TV camera is pointed on him at every big show. No matter where they're at, he has that seat every big show. To have that seat, that is like, if you're going off of market prices, that's a $65,000 seat. All I saw the second night were smiley faces in the crowd. This dude has gotten himself over just wearing the same outfit every single time, being in the same spot. So I don't know why. It's not really a grievance, but it's something that I take away from the weekend. I should be taking away wrestling from the weekend. Like how you give Tiffy and Jade, Jacob and Solo combined the same amount as time as Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria will never make sense to me. Those matches were over before you blinked. All right. 2 more. We're done.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
All of you Rock fans that said you could not have SummerSlam. There was no way to book Cody and Cena without The Rock. How you feeling now? What's your thoughts now? How's that taste? If you don't know what I'm talking about, the main event last night blew my mind. And here's why it blew my mind. And by the way, I'm leaving this out. Pyro shot into the crowd after the main event. That might be a problem, WWE. But the way this works, when somebody like John Cena leaves the company, his last match is when he puts over the next star, whoever's going to be the up-and-coming guy. This was a street fight, and nobody else ran in, which up until this point, Every other match that John had, they had run in. But both guys came into the match as massive good guys, massive baby faces, as they call it. And they both worked like heels. They wrestled as heels in the show. 58, 59, 4 minutes. Thanks for the time, Paul. I got 60 seconds left. They both wrestled as heels, even though they were good guys. And John Cena did the ultimate thing, putting Cody Rhodes over, handing him the title with 4 months left of John Cena. John Cena has rewritten the way that you retire. He is clearly getting to do what he wants. And what they did last night with the psychology, the way that he did that, that was the match. That was John Cena's true last put over a guy match. And it was done perfectly. It was incredible. Incredible work. Now it's just a list of who he wants to wrestle with, which leads you to the Brock Lesnar return. But that was incredible work by both of them. Because the entire time you're thinking, oh, okay, Cena's just acting like he's a good guy. He's going to do something evil. And then the entire time you're looking at Cody, you're like, oh, this is the turn. The dude's undoing the ring and he's hitting John Cena with the metal part of the ring. It's about as heelish as you get. But then you have the two, what will probably or could end up being biggest baby faces in the history of the business, having that moment. That was a real moment last night in that match. And that's the end of my grievances. I hit it in 5.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
I hit it in 5. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Same outfit. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about
Sounds like Rhino in his Traeger shirt. It's a comfortable shirt. It really is. $65,000 for a seat. What the hell is wrong with people? Look, there's certain people that they call quote unquote plants. There's people that have connections that get or have a seat reserved or offered to them first. And then there's these other packages that are offered by a third party called On Location that come with all these benefits. This dude's paying the money through On Location. So I don't know if you got a trust fund, maybe he sold a tech company and all he wanted to do was travel around and watch WWE. Hey man, whatever your happiness is, whatever it is. Nobody talking about the idiot that threw an inappropriate toy onto the court of an NBA game. Yeah, that's usually stuff for another show on another channel. So we leave that stuff that's below us to that person. So I'm sure that person will be talking about that. That's a problem, actually, Peter. I will say this. That's the second one. That's not the first one. That's the second one. Did I do it? Okay. See, keep me accountable, y'all. Keep me accountable. Ryan wasn't able. Yep, Ryan wasn't able. I'm going to start thinking, okay, so when I was in my previous realm, there was something that could only be set up with what's called a special needs trust. It's called an ABLE account. So now when I think about the word ABLE, I'm going to think about ABLE accounts, and that's how I'm going to bridge the difference so I don't make that mistake, because that is a common word I used to use in my common life, or my life before this. So, all right, good. Laughing at that's probably a bad day at work. Yeah, it's a bad day at work. All right, so we've kind of gone through a little bit of everything today. If you're just joining us right now off the top, what we talked about, we did our Motivational Monday with Scott Perry. You can go catch that on the replay. This was really the news that kind of jumped the show a few hours, 3 hours before we went to air. De'Aaron Fox got paid by the Spurs, and I am sitting up here eating crow. I am able to be here with you today to eat crow and tell you I was wrong. I did not think De'Aaron Fox was going to get that money from the San Antonio Spurs. That now means De'Aaron Fox is 19th on the list of most money ever made by an NBA player through contracts. He is 19th. He passed Chris Paul. With this contract, De'Aaron will make $416,202,932. Here's the breakdown of the contract if you're interested in it. My take is congratulations, De'Aaron. You got paid and you got out too. But the pressure, although the pressure would have been high with this fan base, I don't think it's anything like the pressure he's going to face in San Antonio. Unless Wemby's timeline speeds up. Unless Wemby is a completely different Wemby next year, or this coming season. A Wemby that can play 78 games in a season. A Wemby that can handle the ball a little bit better. That can post up if you need him to. That has more than just a step back, even though at his size, only having a step back is sufficient for him to be successful in the NBA. Unless that Wemby shows up, the next light now goes on De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox got exactly what he wanted. He is now a 1B to A star. He is now a 1B, and he's being paid that way. I do think the Spurs are at least another move away. And I wouldn't count, depending on what happens with Giannis, them out of the running for Giannis, which we also talked about earlier in the show. The big thing to me here with De'Aaron is that 2029-2030 number, $63.3 million. I think the Spurs, this is my opinion, have not talked to anybody with the Spurs. Circle that on your calendar. I think that's the year the Spurs have internally to realistically, I think that is where they have set the realistic timeline to have at least one championship by that year. It's got to be that year. Preferably next year. But the Spurs are messing something up, or somebody has had terrible injury problems or underachieved greatly. If you have not won a championship by 29-30, you could maybe even say the NBA Finals. But that's why that's what that number tells me. We're backloading it for that year. And this is De'Aaron's contract. This is, in my opinion, the contract. Forget what happened in Sacramento. We won't forget what happened in Sacramento, but the national media, they will forget. The national media, maybe not. The fans, the national fan base of the NBA is not going to remember De'Aaron Fox for his time in Sacramento. Mostly losing seasons, with the exception of 2 of the last 3. The majority of mainstream NBA fans and casual NBA fans are going to remember De'Aaron Fox by these next 4 years, playing besides Wemby. These are the 4 years that De'Aaron Fox, although I still think it is a very, very slim chance. Maybe not if they stack up 3 championships, but these have to be the years. These have to be De'Aaron's best years, because he's only going to get slower. The Spurs are betting on the De'Aaron Fox that scored 109 points in back-to-back games. That was getting to the paint. That's what they need. They don't need another three-point shooter. They've got Steph Castle. They've got Wemby. Hopefully, we'll have Harper. So I just think it's interesting. I think you can see through a little bit of the Spurs plan here. We might need help. We might need help in 26-27. We might need help in 27-28. We might need to do some more stuff in 28-29, but our financial feasibility is going to be tightening up there because now we got to start thinking about paying Steph Castle, and then you get to 29-30, and now you're thinking about possibly paying the other rookies if they pan out. So circle that year, 29-30. That has got to be the year that the Spurs are able to win a championship or at least be in the finals. It's got to be that year. The Spurs have to know by 29-30 that what they have works. So congratulations to De'Aaron. I hope he lives up to the standard. It's going to be a different situation, very different situation than here in Sacramento. A lot more national games. De'Aaron, in some ways, is going to be reintroduced to so many fans. So many fans. So we'll see how he's remembered. I wish him well. I really do. I wish him well. Aaron's Burgers. Fox is like Kenny Smith with going to Houston to play with Hakeem. I don't disagree. I don't. Like Halliburton faced at Indy. We'll see. Trying to get your guys' airs in here. Eating crow. It's understandable why he couldn't say Abel at the time. I'll have to check with Brian and the team at Bennett's. Can they get me some crow? What's the closest thing to crow? That's the thing, though. I'm not too big I'm not sweeping that up under the rug. I'll come out here and own it. I didn't think he was going to make that money. I thought he was going to be expendable, possibly, to the Spurs. They're obviously not taking the wait and see approach. They're not viewing it as a tryout. That is 1B next to Wemby. That's what that is. Maybe you do a Giannis deal, but I don't know. I think now, although the Spurs would really like to be in that game, I think Golden State is showing their hand a little bit about waiting to see what Giannis Antetokounmpo does. If you're just joining us as well, Grant, he will be here in just under 30 minutes. We are back to back today. So you will get no wrestling, none whatsoever from Grant. I can promise you that. Probably not much speculation either about Kings and Kuminga. Really what I'm hearing is this is cooled down. Both sides are sticking to their guns here. And I'm okay with that. I really am for Sacramento. I'm not sure it's the right time for that jump. Now, the one area that I do think having Kuminga really helps you at, that one area is Keegan Murray, because you're able to put Keegan at the 3. But it does cause, if you do trade, let's say Scott Perry wakes up tomorrow. It's like, you know what? Yeah, we'll make it unprotected. If he made that decision, what are you doing with the starting lineup? You've got a problem on your hands. Either way you cut it, you're going to be looking at Zach LaVine, you're going to be looking at DeMar DeRozan, or you're going to be looking at Jonathan Kuminga, who you promised a starting position, and saying, yeah, we can't start you. We want you to come off the bench. I believe it can't be Keegan Murray that's coming off the bench. It cannot be. your team will be down 15 by the first time out. Because who's going to guard the other team's best player? Keegan has to be on the floor. So in some ways, we'll see if it works itself out, if it changes. But really what I'm hearing is this is really kind of slowed down. The Warriors need to get him under contract. But if Scott Perry did, again, in that situation, move off of his position where he thinks he has leverage, giving them a protected first-round pick, would Malik Monk stay in Golden State if Giannis became available? That's kind of, I don't think Jonathan Kuminga would be an appealing piece to. So Golden State, they're looking at these different scenarios. And I think, again, that's where Scott feels like he has position. And we also talked about, well, if Scott doesn't want to unprotect it, what's that say about the timelines? We're talking about a 2030 pick. So we can pick through the details of that without speculating on whether Kuminga's coming to Sacramento or not. You can look at how they're thinking, what they might feel is the leverage on each side. But from what I've heard, this has cooled down. Now, it could heat back up at any time. So we will see. Helicopter. If Fox went home to Houston, I would wish him well. But trying to piggyback on Wemby, on the Wemby train, I don't like that. I'm going to be fair to De'Aaron. That was a Rich Paul thing. Now, De'Aaron didn't have to go with it, but that was Rich Paul. And Rich Paul came out on the record and said it. Said, I came to De'Aaron. It was like, De'Aaron, you need to go to San Antonio. That might be actually, now that we're talking this out, that might be one of the quieter storylines here in De'Aaron's massive contract that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. It's the power of Rich Paul behind the scenes with these teams. That Rich Paul, he knew. I was beginning to question. And then especially you hear, well, as De'Aaron had a setback, he's not doing his Under Armour tour overseas. Rich Paul, you can't double cross him right now. And his book of business just continues to grow and grow and grow. Incredible. Tino is one of the few broadcasters that can pronounce Giannis's last name correctly. Appreciate that. Now I just got to work on being able to say able, right? And we're good. We are good. Speaking of good, got something great coming up for you here in 20 minutes. It's Napes. Grab a bathroom break. Get a cold drink. Grant will be here in 20 minutes. He's got some announcement or something going on. I don't know. Sometime this week. Join him for the first time since the weekend. I appreciate all you for being here today. Lots of good stuff, good comments, good calls. Thank you, Kazi, for the call. Big thanks to our sponsor, Bennett's. Go check them out, bennettsrestaurants.com. Special thanks as well to the Elk Grove Card and Comics store. If you didn't hear that story, you can go back and rewatch it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. News coming. This is the place to be for Kings basketball. We tell you that this thing just keeps growing, and largely because of all of you, but we're continuing to improve this thing for you. New features each season, new things coming. So thank you for that. If you're not subscribed, we would love to have you subscribe. If you'd rather take us on the go Go to Apple, Spotify. You can find the King's Court with Rhino there, or any place else that you listen to podcasts. You can find If You Don't Like That with Grant at grantnapier.com, Spotify, Apple, whatever your choice is. So thank you very much for letting me into your homes, into your ears, your offices, wherever it might be, to talk some basketball and sports with you. It's a great pleasure. One of my best and favorite pleasures. So thank you very much for that. Grant, coming up just over 15 minutes. Join him, 5 o'clock. See you then. Court is dismissed.
Order in the court.
Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
I'm on gas, no brakes now. You know what I mean?